Okay guys, up to this point we haven't used any equipment, and it may very well be that you have things lying around the house that may be of use to you, that maybe you hadn't thought about using in an exercise program. The most obvious thing will be most houses will have stairs, and it's the best piece of gym equipment you'll probably have. There's your treadmill, okay? The obvious thing to do is use the stairs for running up and down, and obviously be careful so you don't end up tripping up on it, but it's a fantastic bit of gear for a bit of resistance running in both directions. If you start off doing a run on the right foot, create the next one or start the next one with the left foot going on the step first. And the speed you get is up to yourself, but do be careful on that. Using the bottom step, you can do hops, stepping off, or even hops on and off. And going back to the last video, you also have that option of doing some press-ups that are declined. That's the stairs. There are any other things you can do on them, but just for this moment, that'll do for the sake of demonstration. Now, brush handle. Most houses will have a brush handle in it. If you take a brush handle down the length of your back, you have 3 contact points: back of your skull, between your shoulder blades, and your tailbone. You're going to maintain those 3 contact points as you lean forward and unlock your knees. The reason you do this, guys, is to learn to keep your back in neutral, so that when you come to do exercises that involve flexing your trunk forward, you maintain that neutral position in your back. But that exercise in and of itself is a useful thing to do from the point of view of keeping your back in neutral and training yourself to stay in that position. That there can actually be quite tricky. A lot of people will do that and will lose contact between the brush handle and their lower back. Having done that, if you happen to have a cleaning cloth or a duster in the house, and who doesn't, you can create a much more challenging plank for yourself than we did in the last video. Have a look at this and see what you make of it. There's an extended plank, and you lift your hips in the air, keeping the legs straight, sliding the duster forward and back on the floor. Doing the same thing in the plank position, a little bit more challenging, with the elbows on the floor. So a more challenging plank than we did on the last video. Maybe you have a skipping rope. And the obvious thing with a skipping rope is skipping. But if you haven't skipped for a while and you're nervous about starting again, don't expect yourself to be able to skip non-stop for longer than a few seconds. So what you can do is try your skips with your 2 foot or 1 foot, but just do a few. Take a breather, catch your breath, and then after a few seconds, repeat what you just did. Hop or jog. Don't do too many, allow yourself to recover in between each little bout of skipping. Now this may or may not be something you have lying around the place, but if in a previous existence you had bought some exercise equipment, you may have an elastic band or an extra band somewhere lying around the house. If you do, it's a very good way of adding resistance to mobility exercises. So in this case, you're mobilizing the shoulders, but you're creating a little bit more resistance through the exercise, so the shoulders strengthen as well as mobilize. But in addition to that, if you do this and retract your scapula, your shoulder blades, and pull your arms out wide, you're creating a very good strength exercise for your upper back. And it's a tremendous counterpoint to the poor posture most of us have from sitting at a desk or driving or working a laptop or whatever it is we have to do that creates a slouch in our posture. So that little bit of gear there is a tremendous antidote to a modern disease. It's less likely you have a rope hanging around the place, guys, but if you do happen to have one, you can use them very effectively for strengthening the arms, the back of the body. Simple thing to do is just pull yourself up from the trunk using the rope. If you want to make it a bit more challenging, walk yourself up, keeping your knees bent and you're upright. Walk yourself down. If you want to make it more challenging again, try the same thing, keeping your legs straight, add a little hop to it, and then go back down again to the floor. Now, so it's less likely you have something like that lying around the place, but the point is that if you have a little bit of imagination with some equipment lying around the place you feel you can use, don't be afraid to use it, but always bear in mind safety. Okay guys, enjoy that. Thank you.